Every powerful empire in history eventually collapsed. Every single one. Rome, the Mongols, the Ottomans, the British. Gone. And the crazy part? They all made basically the same mistakes. Today we're breaking down exactly how 4 of the greatest empires in history destroyed themselves. Let's get into it. The Roman Empire first. At its peak, Rome controlled 5 million square kilometers. They had the best roads, the best army, the best legal system on Earth. They built over 400,000 kilometers of roads. Some are still being used today. Their aqueducts delivered 1 million cubic meters of fresh water to Rome every single day. For 500 years, nobody could touch them. Then things got weird fast. In just 75 years, they went through 20 different emperors. 20. Most of them were assassinated. One emperor, Pertinax, lasted 87 days before his own guards killed him. Those same guards then literally auctioned off the throne to the highest bidder. A rich senator named Didius Julianus paid the equivalent of millions just to become emperor. He lasted 66 days before he was also executed. This was the leadership of the greatest empire on Earth. Their economy was in free fall too. Rome ran out of new land to conquer, which meant no more war loot coming in. So emperors started secretly scraping silver off coins to mint more money. By the 3rd century, Roman coins were 95% bronze with just a silver coating. Inflation exploded. Prices rose 1,000% in under 50 years. Ordinary Romans couldn't afford bread. Farmers abandoned their land. Cities filled with unemployed, desperate people. And then the barbarians showed up. Rome was so broke they couldn't afford a proper army anymore, so they started hiring the very barbarians threatening them as soldiers instead. By the late 400s, most of the Roman army was actually Germanic barbarians. They had zero loyalty to Rome. Zero. The Huns came out of Central Asia and smashed into Germanic tribes, the Visigoths, the Vandals, the Ostrogoths, pushing all of them directly into Roman territory at the same time. In 410 AD, the Visigoths walked straight into Rome and sacked it, the greatest city on Earth. Hadn't happened in 800 years. Citizens were in complete shock. People genuinely thought the world was ending. And in 476 AD, a barbarian general named Odoacer simply walked up to the last Roman emperor, a teenager named Romulus, and told him he was done. No massive battle, no dramatic last stand, just over. 500 years of empire, finished by a teenager being sent home. Now, the Mongols. This one is actually insane. One guy, Genghis Khan, built the largest land empire in all of human history, twice the size of Rome, 3 times the size of the entire United States, stretching from the Pacific Ocean all the way to Eastern Europe. His army had a trick nobody could counter. They'd ride up to a city, demand surrender, and promise safety if they complied. Most cities surrendered immediately because the alternative was total destruction. Those who refused, entire populations were wiped out as a warning to the next city. Word spread faster than the army did. Cities would surrender before the Mongols even arrived because they were that terrifying. In 1241, the Mongols reached Poland and Hungary simultaneously. They were literally weeks away from Western Europe. Nothing could have stopped them. Then Genghis Khan died in 1227, and his kids immediately started arguing over who gets the empire. It was split into 4 separate khanates. Each one then went to war with the other 3. The most powerful military force in history basically just argued itself apart. And then the Black Death hit. Here's the genuinely insane part. The Mongols built and controlled the Silk Road trade routes connecting east and west. Those exact same routes carried plague-infected rats and fleas across the entire empire. Their greatest achievement literally killed them. Some historians believe the Mongols might have even deliberately catapulted plague-infected corpses over city walls during sieges, accidentally helping spread the disease that would eventually destroy their own empire. By 1368, China had enough and kicked the Mongols completely out. The Yuan dynasty fell. The empire was done. The Ottoman Empire lasted 600 years. 600! To put that in perspective, the United States is only 248 years old. The Ottomans were over twice as old when they finally collapsed. They were genuinely incredible at their peak. In 1453, Sultan Mehmed II captured Constantinople with an army of 80,000 men, using the largest cannons ever built at that point in history. Some of those cannons weighed 19 tons and took 60 oxen to move. Constantinople, the most fortified city in the world, fell in 53 days. Under Suleiman the Magnificent, they controlled territory across 3 continents. They nearly captured Vienna twice. If Vienna had fallen, European history would look completely different. But after Suleiman died in 1566, the sultans basically clocked out. They'd sit in the palace while corrupt advisors and court factions ran everything. Between 1566 and 1800, the Ottomans lost almost every major war they fought. Meanwhile, Europe was having the Industrial Revolution, steam engines, mass-produced weapons, railways, modern banking. The Ottomans called themselves the sick man of Europe, and they weren't wrong. By the 1900s, the empire was hemorrhaging territory. Greece gone, Romania gone, Serbia gone, Bulgaria gone, Algeria gone. Algeria was lost to France in 1830, and they barely even noticed for years. Then in World War I, they backed Germany. Bad call. After Germany lost, the victorious Allies carved up Ottoman territory like a pizza. Britain took Iraq and Palestine. France took Syria and Lebanon. The Sultan was abolished in 1922. 623 years of empire, divided up in a conference room in Paris. And then the British Empire. At their absolute peak, they controlled a quarter of all land on Earth. Every 4th person alive on the planet was under British rule. They ran India with only 100,000 British officials overseeing 300 million people. Think about that ratio. 1 British person for every 3,000. They could only do it because they convinced enough local leaders it was worth cooperating. The moment that cooperation stopped, it was over. Then World War I happened, cost them £11 billion, equivalent to trillions today. Then World War II happened, cost them even more. They won both wars and still came out broke. In 1945, Britain had to go to America with their hat in hand asking for a loan. America gave it to them, but quietly made clear the age of European empires was done. Independence movements exploded everywhere simultaneously. India in 1947, Pakistan the same day, Burma, Ceylon, Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya. Between 1945 and 1965, Britain went from ruling 700 million people to ruling about 5 million outside the UK. That's how fast it happened. And in 1956, Britain tried to take back the Suez Canal from Egypt by force. America said stop or we crash the British pound. Britain stopped immediately. The whole world watched Britain back down from a country a fraction of its size because America told them to. Superpower status? Gone in a single news cycle. 4 empires, completely different centuries, different continents, different religions, but the same pattern every single time. Leaders stopped caring, economies broke down, they stopped adapting, and the people they were ruling decided enough was enough. In part 2, we go even deeper. Which empire fell the absolute fastest, and which modern world power is repeating these exact same mistakes right now? If you want to find out, you already know what to do.